Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to learn a new topic today. Before we start new topic, there are do now question. What are the solution of each equation? Remember that we have some special binomials. One of them is a square minus b square. If you want to factorize this, this is called difference of two squares. Difference of two squares. We can factorize this as a minus b times a plus b. We are going to use this idea to be able to factorize this expression. X squared minus 36 is equal to 0. You can write the 36 as a 6 square. Now this is also a difference of two squares, which means you can write as a factored form x minus 6 times x plus 6, which is equal to 0. If you multiply two factors which is equal to 0, means one of them at least must be equal to 0. X minus 6 is equal to 0, or x plus 6 is equal to 0. From here x could be positive 6 or x could be negative 6, and these are solutions of x squared minus 36. On the other hand, you can also say that these are the zeros of function. Next one. To be able to solve this question, you need to factorize first. How can we factorize? You need to find factors of 9 first, 3 and 3. Remember, there are two conditions. The first condition, when you multiply those numbers, you need to get the positive 9. When you add them up, you should get positive 6. After that, you can write it down as a x plus 3 times x plus 3. And they are the same factor. So x plus 3 is equal to 0, or x plus 3 is equal to 0. From here, you will get the same answer. X is equal to negative 3 is your solution. Today we are going to learn how to recognize solutions of quadratic equation and why are the x-intercepts of the graph of a quadratic function important to the solution of a related equation. So first of all, I am going to factorize and I'm going to find the solution of this quadratic function, and then I'm going to graph it. X squared minus 14x plus 49 is equal to 0. To be able to solve this, factorize 49. What are the two factors which is when you multiply, which is going to give you 49? When you add them up, when you add those factors, you will get negative 14. They are negative 7 and negative 7. After that, you can write it down. X minus 7 times x minus 7, which is equal to 0. From here, x minus 7 equal to 0, x is equal to 7. There's only one solution. So let me graph this and let me see how this solution is going to help us on the graph. If you try to graph this, remember, ladies and gentlemen, in the standard form, what was the standard form? What is the quadratic function in standard form? Y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, isn't it? And c is the y-intercept. So your y-intercept is, what is that? Positive 49. If you want to describe this as an ordered pair, you can describe 0, 49, because y-intercept means the point located on the y-axis. Any point located on the y-axis, the x-coordinate is 0. After that, you need to find the vertex. How can I find the vertex? To be able to find the vertex, x-coordinate can be found as a negative b over 2a. If you compare this with the general form, you can tell me that a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 14, and c is equal to 49. If we substitute b and a value into the this expression, you can find negative times negative 14 over 2. Then you can get x coordinate of the vertex is 7. How am I going to find the y coordinate? You need to substitute this into the function. So y coordinate is 7 squared minus 14 times 7 plus 49. After this, if you calculate this, you will get that y is equal to 49. 7 squared is 49. Negative 14 times 7 is negative 48 plus 49. If you combine this, you will get y is equal to 0. So your vertex is 7, 0. So what does that mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is your solution. On the other hand, this is going to be your vertex. So your function is going to be like this. So the main part of this topic is your solution is going to give you this graph is intersecting x-axis at which point? X is equal to 7 in this question. X is equal to 7 is your point. Your graph is intersecting x-axis. So the finding solution is going to help you to find x-intercept. Next question. This is the next question, ladies and gentlemen. Remember that if you have factored form like x minus p times x minus q is equal to 0, you can say that x is equal to p and x is equal to q is your solution, right? Now, when you look at over here, what are the two solutions? Which means that what are the x-intercepts? One of them is x is equal to negative 5. The other one is x is equal to positive 1. When you try to convert this to the factored form, you are going to write it down x plus 5 times x minus 1, which is equal to y. But there is one important thing over here. We can understand from the x-intercepts whether this function has vertical stretch or compression. That's the reason you need to multiply by a. To be able to find a, remember we did in the previous one, you are going to substitute one of the points on the graph. I would like to choose this point, which is 0, negative 5. If you substitute this into the function, you can understand what is the value of a. Let's substitute. X is a, x is equal to 0, y is equal to negative 5. A times 0 plus 5 times 0 minus 1 is equal to negative 5. From here, ladies and gentlemen, we can simplify a times 5 times negative 1, which is equal to negative 5. From here, negative 5, a is equal to negative 5. Divide both sides by negative 5. A is equal to positive 1. So, to be able to write the general form of this function, you can say that y is equal to a is 1, that's why 1 doesn't affect anything. X plus 5 times x minus 1. This is factored form. When you distribute each variable into the parentheses, you can get the standard form. What does that mean? X times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. 5 times x is positive 5x. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. After that, if you combine the like terms, x squared, combine the like terms, plus 4x minus 5. And this is your standard form, belongs to this graph. Next slide. In this slide, the equation is given to you, but I am not going to use this. I am going to try to find the same equation from the graph. How? By using x-intercept. Let me try to determine the x-intercept. What is this? This is negative 3. What about this? Positive 2. So I have two x-intercepts. One of them is x is equal to negative 3. Another one is x is equal to positive 2. If you write them as a factored form, you can get this x plus 3 times x minus 2, which is equal to function y. Remember that we need to find a. To be able to find a, you can choose any point on the coordinate plane. I would like to choose this point. This point is 0, negative 6. If we substitute, x value is going to be 0, y will be equal to negative 6. Let's substitute. A times 0 plus 3 times 0 minus 2, which is equal to negative 6. After that, you can simplify this. A times 3 times negative 2, which is equal to negative 6. Negative 6a is equal to negative 6. Divide both sides by negative 6. A is equal to positive 1. Now you can write the standard form. Y is equal to x plus 3 times x minus 2. If we distribute this, if we distribute each variable into the second parenthesis, you will get standard form. X times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. 3 times x plus 3x. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. After this, y is equal to x squared. Combine the like terms plus x minus 6. This is the standard form. If you want to find the solution or zeros of this function, you need to make them equal to 0, which is equal to the equation which is given in the beginning. Next slide. I think this is the last question. What is the factored form of the function? To be able to find the factored form, ladies and gentlemen, we need to first determine x-intercept. What is the x-intercept? This is positive 3. What is this? Positive 9. So you have a 2 x-intercept. X is equal to positive 3. X is equal to positive 9. Now we are going to write this as a factored form. Y is equal to x minus 3 times x minus 9. But be careful. We have a number a because we don't know this is going to be vertical stretch or compression. So to be able to find the a value, we need to substitute any point on the graph. I would like to choose this point. Now this is vertex, by the way. What is your vertex? 6, negative 9. X value is 6. Y value is negative 9. Let's substitute. Negative 9 is equal to a times 6 minus 3 times 6 minus 9. From here, negative 9 is equal to a times 6 minus 3 is positive 3 times 6 minus 9 is negative 3. Negative 9 is equal to 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. A. Divide both sides by negative 9. A is going to be equal to positive 1. I can't say that A is always 1, but for this question, the previous question, we found A is equal to 1. But you need to do these steps all the time. So, what is your factored form? Y is equal to x minus 3 times x minus 9, and this is the factored form. We have one more question. Now, as you see here, use the graph to find the solution of the equation. So, as you see here, how many solutions here? There's only one solution, right? Because x-intercept is your vertex. So, which means that you will find the 1x point which is equal to positive 1. How am I going to do this? To be able to factorize this, ladies and gentlemen, you need to get negative parentheses. If I get the negative parentheses, negative times what is equal to x squared is positive x squared. Negative times what is equal to positive 2x, negative 2x. Negative times what is equal to negative 1 is positive 1, which is equal to 0. Why did I do this? Because to be able to factorize the expression inside the parentheses, I want to make the sign of the x squared is positive. So now I can factorize. Remember how to factorize this. You can find the factor of positive 1 -1 and -1. Remember, there are two conditions. When you multiply the -1 and -1, you will get +1. When you add them up, you are supposed to get the number in the middle. So, and then you can write it down x minus 1 times x minus 1, which is equal to 0. So, if you multiply two expressions with the same base, you can write it down as an exponent x minus 1 squared, which is equal to 0. From here, x minus 1 must be equal to 0, x is equal to 1. As you see here, there's only one 0, which is equal to x is equal to 1. This is the end of our lesson.